I want to talk about something very sensitive. Infidelity. What does it do to you? I've helped very many women, well, even men, but especially women, in therapy, and they have had to deal with the betrayal of a spouse cheating. I want to talk about some of the things that people don't talk about and how they affect the other spouse, the one who is cheated on. Yeah. There's one fundamental thing that infidelity does to this person, the victim. It shakes their identity, their self-worth. It makes the person question themselves whether they are enough or they're not enough, whether they are this or that, because it puts the person in a comparison state. And if you don't know who you are, if you're not grounded in security of who you are, you can actually lose yourself. That's why you will see people maybe starting to ask questions. What didn't I do for you? What does she have that I don't have? You know? And then you forget that you're actually a unique human being. The other person could be light and you're dark-skinned, or could be dark-skinned and you're light. It doesn't make you any less beautiful. So here, today, this is to remind you that it's not about you. Okay? It's not about you. You did not do anything that made that person cheat. Yes, everyone has some weaknesses that they know about themselves. But let me tell you, that weakness that you think, or that your spouse might tell you that this is the reason why you did this and this, or you're like this and like this, that's the reason. Because that's what I see in therapy. Most people will come and tell you, he says that he cheated because I don't give him peace. Yeah, or I don't, there's always a reason. Yeah. But this is the one thing I keep telling them. Okay, yes, those weaknesses were there, but this person also had weaknesses. Did you cheat? Okay, so it all comes down to self-control. Now, what I'm teaching you today is that do not allow your self-worth to be put down because of someone else's actions. You can only control some things. You can't control how someone behaves, but you can control how you react. And the thing that I've seen that is consistent with most of my clients who are going through that pain of betrayal and infidelity is that they start to question who they are and what what life means to them. And that's why I'm here to remind you that you are enough. For the wrong person, you could lay down for them to work on you and they'll say you're not flat enough. Why is it important for you to know yourself? That's why I keep telling people you need therapy to know yourself also, to be grounded in who you are, your self-identity, your self-worth. Because then when such things happen, you're not moved. You don't shaken. Like your heart, you'll be sad, because it's also important to acknowledge that. But also you'll know now, how do I create boundaries? How do I protect myself? How do I get out of this situation? Or if you're planning to stay, how do you protect yourself? Because you also have to think about maybe your health. There are diseases. HIV is real, sexually, for Christians who believe in sexually transmitted demons. You also have to look at that spiritual angle. There's a lot. There's also your emotional well-being, because you have to deal with anger, you have to deal with frustration, you find that you have to deal with even your negative thoughts. Now you're thinking about, there are people who will even start to think about suicide, and that's where some of them, I ask them, okay, so if you passed away because you think it will hurt the other person, isn't that like a double loss? Because this person hurt you, then you're allowing them to hurt you further by taking away your life for them to stay and be happy with the other person. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? And usually it helps someone to snap out of it, to realize that you can't reward bad behavior, with good. No, you're rewarding the person by you being absent.